Some analysis. Let me turn to Joseph Williams. He's a former U.S. News and World Report senior editor. This is just a mind-boggling story, Joseph. For days now, authorities have been telling residents in East Palestine, Ohio, it is safe for you guys to go back home, but they're not buying it. And they are worried, especially after reports of fish and now reports of chicken turning up dead. What do you make of this?
It's not surprising at all. Hazardous materials sometimes linger in the air. There was a plume of smoke that settled over the town for days. And this points to the fact that a lot of rail traffic that goes through communities carries this kind of material. Now, certainly the environmental testing that they've been done, I mean, on facts, on paper, it says that things are safe. It says that things are acceptable, but people's bodies and the fish and the environment, they tell a different story. So they have a serious problem here with residents who are afraid, with a rail company that's trying to throw money at the problem and assure people that things are safe by doing air testing and water quality testing. But the results, the human factor, is something that really can't be denied.
It seems to me, Joseph, that they dropped the ball on this one. They could have handled the situation a lot better. Railway operator Norfolk Southern, what are they doing? What are they saying? Is there any accountability for this disaster?
Well, so far there's been no accountability from the government to Norfolk Southern, basically because they're still trying to investigate and figure out what went wrong. And it's still a very hazardous situation right now. It's still very difficult for NTSB investigators to get in and have a look because there's still a lot of toxicity in the air. There's still a lot of material in this tank, and it could become a different situation in a matter of minutes. Norfolk Southern is basically saying that accidents will happen. We're trying to make this right. They're throwing $1 million or so at the community, including money to the firefighters, money to the families, money for air and water quality testing. But at the end of the day, the only type of accountability they may face is either if the National Transportation and Safety Bureau finds something wrong in the way they operated the train, or if residents manage to get a successful civil lawsuit to figure out what went wrong. Now, either of those situations are miles down the road, and it could just be that the official findings from the government are shrugging, it was an accident, we're sorry, we don't know how other else to fix it. But that's a little ways down the road. Until now, they still have to figure out what's going on and how to fix it.
The EPA says it screened the indoor air quality in some 200 homes, did not detect any vinyl chloride. But is it possible, Joseph, that the burn created additional compounds that the EPA is not testing for?
It's highly possible. It's also highly likely that there are some chemicals on that car that have been overlooked because no one knows exactly what was in it. There are 5 or 6 tank cars. There is a manifest, and they're going over it right now to figure out exactly what those tank cars were carrying. But it's likely that the burn caused some more problems, that it did more harm than good, even though the officials were trying to prevent an explosion. And it's also likely that there are more leaks that have not yet been detected. And again, if we go back to the big picture, a lot of this has to do with the way the rail industry is run in the United States, why there is no more official inspection, or why no more rigorous inspection of freight rail cars. And that's another issue that's definitely going to have to be on the table once the situation is finally resolved.
It's just shameful. This community, small community, really going through a lot right now. I mean, if you can't go home, what are you supposed to do when no one is giving you the answers you need? And it seems to me the mainstream media also dropped the ball on this one. I mean, this story hasn't gotten a whole lot of traction, has it?
Not really, and it's very surprising. The first initial couple of days, yes, because even though rail accidents are fairly common in the United States, we have about 2,000 of them per year, many of them involving not harmful substances or no loss of life. This one was a very big deal from the start because there was explosions, there was fire, a story ready-made for media coverage. But the problem has been that people have not dug into the story to figure out exactly why what happened, and how this is a microcosm of how freight is transported, dangerous freight is transported through the country. A lot of these rail systems are relying on their own goodwill to make sure that the tracks are in shape, to make sure that they're operating properly, and that human toll is also in the mix here because we don't have a lot of knowledge about how far cutbacks in manpower have led to this accident.
You certainly raised a lot of important points there. Joseph Williams, thank you very much.